Hello again. So last time we discussed how to load different data sets into our working environment. From today onwards, we will discuss how to handle our data which is already available with us. So how to manipulate that data, how to get insights of that data, and so on. How to analyze those data and get useful information from that data. So today we are going to use a step which is also very important, and that is the data exploration step. So for this task we have divided our work into two steps. The first one is the handling missing data, in which we will try to evaluate or see our data that either it has some missing data or not, and in the other step we will load some data from the scikit-learn data sets and try to manipulate it by using different commands which we have earlier used in step number 1. Okay, so now let's start our work, and in this work we are going to use our own data sets which we have developed in the form of CSV data, which is available here. So this is the country data, in which we have entered some data in column A of this CSV file, and in column C of this CSV file we have some numeric data which shows different statistics of the countries which are mentioned in column number A. So here we can see some inconsistent entries which are composed of some non-numeric data. Similarly, these are some symbolic forms, NaN, and similarly hyphen, etc. So this is basically the inconsistent data, and in handling this type of data we have to see that how to remove or replace these inconsistent entries by using some information which is available with us. Okay, so let us try to manipulate this one. So in manipulating it, what are the steps? The steps will remain the same. First of all, we have to import the directories or dependencies which we are going to use, and after it we have to go and see the directory in which we are going to work. Okay, so in order to work over all of this, first of all let us import our dependencies. So the first step, dependency, as we are going to handle some directories here as well. So let us import OS first, then after it, as I told you earlier, that I have to perform some operations or the data. So therefore another very important package here is the pandas. So importing pandas as PD, as we did earlier, and do these two steps. Okay, so we have imported these two libraries. So after importing them, okay, so after importing them, what is the first step? Let us look at the directory in which we are currently in. So os.cwd, this is the current working directory. So we are not on the desktop. So what we have to do, this is the current working directory, but the file which we have is currently available on the desktop. So I am going to perform the same step which I have done earlier on. So C, okay, and in C users, this one, and this one. Okay, so this is my path, and what I have to do, I have to change my path over current working directory over this path. Okay, I have to change my current working directory. So what is the command here? os.ch dir is the command, and I have to change it here. Okay, similarly let us remove it. So after changing the directory, let us see our directory again. So again, get current working directory. Okay, so now I can see that the directory has been changed to my desktop. Okay, so as the path I have is already available on the desktop, so I can now perform all the operations over this path. So here I can see here that some entries I have in this file are inconsistent, and which are those entries. These entries can be hyphen, nan, or question mark, etc., and these can be some more. Okay, so in order to handle them, let me use another variable here, and let me call here var. Okay, so var is composed of a list in which is composed of all the inconsistent entries which I want to remove. So question mark, similarly nan, and okay, and a hyphen. So these are the entries which I want to remove. Okay, so in order to read my file, let me call it data, and in reading it I know the function which is the read underscore csv, as the file I have is the csv file, and I want to read it. And what is the name of that file? That is the data underscore mine, which is already written here. Okay, this is my file, and similarly in writing it I have to replace my inconsistent entries with some entry which can be removed in the later steps. So in order to do it, what I have to do, there is a command here which is basically the na values. Okay, so na value already listed here. I can use this one, and I can assign the list of inconsistent variables which I have earlier defined here. Okay, or initialized here. So by writing it, what I can do, I can just do it, and after it I can print these entries as well. But before printing it, let me convert it into the data frame. df data equal to pd dot data frame. Okay, and what I have to convert, I have to convert this data, and after it what I have to do, I have to print the first 5 entries of this data set. Okay, so head is the command in pandas which is used for showing me the first 4 rows of my data set. Okay, so these are some commands. Read csv is what we have already discussed in our previous lectures, that this is the pandas command which is used for reading the csv files, which is what I have in my repository or in my directory here. Similarly, in order to convert all the inconsistent entries with the same na value, I have to list all the inconsistent values which are already available in my file or in my data file, and have to write them in the same command as well. This is the same command, but I have to list them here as well. After it, I have converted my values into the data frame. Why did I convert them? Because of the convenience of using the many commands or many application commands which are available in the pandas datasets, which we can see later on. Okay, so let me run it now. So I can see now here that I had some values which are now converted into here. So the first column was the country, the second one was the empty one, and the third one this one. Okay, so let me see all the rows here, because as I have some limited number of rows, so I can also see the number of rows by putting the number of rows here which I want to see. So I can see here now that these were the entries which were inconsistent. Okay, so let me see here as well. Okay, this was my file. Okay, so this is what I had. So in seeing this, I can very clearly see that here the Australia and New Zealand, these two are inconsistent entries, and I can see here that these two are now replaced with NaN. Similarly, another entry which was of Pakistan, which was composed of a hyphen, is also replaced with the NaN. Okay, so the question is, why did I convert all those inconsistent entries by using the NaN or replaced it with NaN? This is because I have some built-in commands which are used remove all the nan entries, okay, because this is the default name for all the inconsistent entries in many libraries. Okay, so that's why I have listed them here. Similarly, as the second column of my data set was empty, therefore the pandas had already replaced it with the nan, so I can also remove this one. Okay, let me remove it first and then I will process it more. So I have intentionally left this column blank in order to show you guys how to remove some column which is composed or left, which is composed of nan entries or left empty. Okay, so coming here again and writing the code here, I have a data frame which is the df underscore data. So in order to remove this one, what I can do, I can use a drop command. Okay, so in order to use the drop command, I have a drop underscore data dot drop, and what I want to drop, I want to drop the column which is named as unnamed 1. Okay, so just writing unnamed 1, and this is the column here. So I want to remove this column and then giving it the name df underscore data 2. Okay, so now let me run this command here. Okay, so I have run it, and after running it, let me print the df underscore data 2 dot head, and how many entries I have to see. Okay, so now you can see that now only 2 columns are left here, in which the first column is the country name and the second column here is the number, which is the unknown statistic which I have used for some other reasons. Okay, so now after it, what I have to do, I have to remove the entries which are composed of nan. Later on in our scikit-learn library, we will also see that instead of removing these values which are composed of the nan values, you can also replace them with many other numbers, like the average of the many numbers, or by making it 0. Okay, so we can also do it, but let us stick to the point here, and we are going to remove these entries by using the pandas command, which is called the drop na. Okay, so in order to use it, what I have to do, data df underscore data 2 is equal to df data 2 dot drop na. Okay, so I can drop it as well. This is one of the command, but before it, what I have to do, if I have the data which is composed of thousands of rows, how to see that how much data I have is the nan and how much data is not nan. What I have to do, I can use another command here, which is the df underscore data 2 dot info. Okay, this is also very important command. Let me run it and it will show you that how much data you have. So actually you have 12 entries 0 to 11. It shows you all the information about data you have. Okay, so 12 entries you have from 0 to 11, and you have 2 columns. Okay, this these 2 entries show you the number of columns and the number of entries. Similarly, the first column here is the country, which is of 12 non-null objects. Similarly, the other one is the 9 non-null floats. Okay, the remaining values here are basically the none values. So you can see here that you have 12 countries, but the numbers associated here are just 9. So only 9 numbers are associated with the 12 countries. So therefore we can conclude from here that the 3 entries here are basically the nan entries. Okay, so all the entries here are of float 64 type. Okay, and the memory usage is also listed here, and the here the class here is the pandas data frame class. This info command basically shows you all the information of a data that we have. Okay, so after doing it, what I have to do, we can remove these entries as well. So let me remove these entries by using the command which I have earlier discussed. So that is the drop na command. Okay, also you can see here that I have some other options here like drop, which I have used. Similarly, drop duplicates, and in which duplicate items can be removed, and similarly drop n is the option which we want to use here. And this one, after it, what I have to do, I will print these values as well. So df underscore data, and again print. Okay, what is the issue here? Sorry, sorry, that is the head command. So that, okay. So now let me run it, and I can see here that the second entry here, which is the Pakistan, and fourth, fifth are already removed, and now the entries here, I have only 3 entries, which are, you can see here that the 2 is removed and 4, 5 is removed here, but the indices remain the same. Okay, so we can very easily see from here that the entries have been removed. Okay, after it, we can also see the names of our data columns as well here. So df data dot columns, so it will show you the names of the columns here which are listed here, and the data types of these columns as well. Okay, so this is basically all about the information what we have and how to remove them. Info is also used for these purposes as well. Similarly, another command which we have is also here, which is the, if we want to see the number of nulls here, so how many null entries do we have here, it will show you the null entries. So they still now we don't have any null entry here, so it will show false, false, false for all the elements here. Similarly, if you want to conclude it by using another command, which is the sum, so I can write here, and here we can see easily that in countries I have 0 null values, and similarly numbers are also 0. So if some entry here is inconsistent like nan or some other value, these number will show you those entries as well. Okay, so that is all about the available data that we have, that how to get insight of that data, and how to get some important information from that data as well. Okay, so after it, we will discuss some other data sets which are already available in the scikit-learn, and the issues associated with that data as well. So till then, take care of yourself, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much.